Welcome to this explainer. Now let's just dive right into this, because today we're looking at a story that is genuinely going to completely change how you view your own obstacles. We are exploring the absolutely unbelievable journey of the King of Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan. But hey, I want to be super clear right from the jump. This isn't just your standard biography of a movie star. If you're going through a major life setback right now, if you feel like the entire foundation of your world has just completely cracked, then this explainer is exactly for you. What we're looking at here is a literal masterclass in ultimate resilience and taking absolutely nothing and somehow turning it into everything.
I want you to really think about this question for a second. What do you do when you lose everything before your journey even begins? For millions of us, massive personal tragedies can literally feel like the end of the road. And, it's so easy to look at a massive global icon and just kind of assume they had this clear, golden, paved path right to the top. But as we unpack the source material today, you're going to see that Shah Rukh Khan's start in life was the absolute ultimate test of pushing through the exact kind of heartbreak that makes most people just want to throw in the towel and give up entirely.
So let's start with Section 1, the shattered beginning, finding hope in the darkest moments.
To truly understand the man, we really have to start right where he did. He was a middle-class kid born in New Delhi in 1965, with this just burning, undeniable passion for acting, and he ended up being mentored by the theater director Barry Jawan. But man, it is wild how quickly a life can just be turned upside down. During his young adulthood, he lost his father to cancer, and then just a few years later, he loses his mother as well. These back-to-back tragedies left him totally emotionally broken. Here was this young guy, suddenly without his parents, completely adrift. But right here is the pivotal moment for his mindset, and honestly, for yours too. Instead of letting that immense, crushing grief paralyze him, he let it fuel him. He made this incredibly conscious decision to just chase his cinematic dreams. Think about it. He had already hit rock bottom, which meant the only direction left to go was up.
That takes us to Section 2, building from absolute nothing, surviving the Mumbai hustle.
So packing up whatever little he had left, Shah Rukh Khan makes this super gritty move to a fiercely competitive Mumbai in the late 1980s. He's grinding out a living in rented apartments with his wife Gauri, and he's starting super small in television shows, stuff like Fauji and Circus. Now contrast that reality with your traditional Bollywood debut at the time. Usually you'd need major family connections, an industry godfather to sort of pave the way for you, and you'd debut in these very safe, traditional romantic hero roles. SRK? He had absolutely zero connections and no safety net whatsoever. But here's the crazy part. Coming from literally nothing actually became his ultimate advantage. When you don't have a safety net to fall back on, you just have to fight harder, and you are way more willing to take the kinds of massive risks that comfortable people just completely avoid.
Moving right along to Section 3, taking the unconventional path, embracing the shadows.
Okay, so it's 1992, and that unstoppable, relentless energy finally catches the industry's attention with his massive debut success in a film called Jawan. But instead of playing it safe after that, instead of trying to fit the standard mold of the traditional romantic lead, he actually leaned into the dark. While most actors were completely avoiding villain roles like the plague, SRK took the risk. In movies like Bazigar and Dar, he made the incredibly bold, unconventional choice to play these highly dangerous, really dark characters. And his intense acting and just sheer powerful screen presence really stood out, precisely because he was out there doing what everyone else was too scared to do. It proves such a powerful lesson for us. When life has already tested you to your absolute limits, taking a professional risk feels a whole lot less intimidating. The audience completely loved his uniqueness, and just like that, his superstar was born.
Which brings us to Section 4, reaching the global summit, building an empire from scratch.
So, having totally proven he could captivate an audience as a villain, he completely pivots. In 1995, he starred as Raj in the absolute smash hit Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, which essentially kicked off a rapid-fire succession of legendary blockbusters. We're talking Dil To Pagal Hai, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, Kal Ho Na Ho, Veer Zara. Literally, film after film, his deeply emotional performances just conquered hearts everywhere. He really wasn't just an actor anymore. He became an actual emotion for people. Fans from the Middle East to Europe, from Africa to America totally fell in love with him. The kid from Delhi, who had lost absolutely everything, was now known all over the globe as King Khan.
And his success rapidly expanded way beyond just acting. I mean, yes, he conquered global cinema screens, but then he went ahead and founded his own massive production company, Red Chillies Entertainment. He even became the owner of the massive IPL cricket team, the Kolkata Knight Riders. He built a literal business empire and started receiving these huge honors from international universities. He became a universally recognized global brand.
He had truly, undoubtedly reached the summit. But as we all know, the higher you climb, the harder the wind blows.
Let's look at Section 5, Surviving the Hard Fall, when the world writes you off.
Now, this right here is where the story connects right back to whatever struggles you might be facing today. Because it turns out, no matter how wildly successful you are, even if you are literally a global superstar, you can still hit rock bottom. Following a string of unsuccessful films, the media and the whole industry actually began asking this really painful question: is the era of King Khan over? Just imagine achieving all of that, climbing all the way to the top of the mountain, only to have everyone suddenly say your time is completely past. For several years, he actually stayed entirely away from the big screen. It was a massive, highly public setback. And honestly, it would have been the absolute perfect excuse to simply retire, enjoy his billions, and just fade away.
But then we get to Section 6, the resurrection. Legends never disappear.
He had to dig deep and tap into that exact same grit he used when he lost his parents all over again. He simply refused to quit. He put his head down, went to work, and reminded absolutely everyone that a setback is really just a setup for a much larger, much more epic story. 2023 marked an absolutely historic, mind-blowing comeback. We're talking Pathaan, Jawan, Donkey, 3 absolutely massive worldwide blockbusters in a single calendar year. He didn't just casually return, he absolutely shattered box office records and created history, proving his enduring, undeniable power to the entire world. And you know, fans were celebrating across the globe because they weren't just cheering for a fun movie, they were cheering for the human spirit's literal ability to rise from the ashes again.
And that brings us to our final section today, your unfinished story, applying the King Khan mindset. So why does all of this actually matter to you? Well, if you are sitting there right now feeling completely defeated, or feeling like you lack the right connections, or maybe you're still reeling from a truly heartbreaking loss, I want you to look at Shah Rukh Khan. He is a living, breathing symbol that your humble beginnings or your tragic setbacks do not dictate your ending. Never stop believing in yourself. Look, I know it sounds super simple, almost like a cliche, right? But when you look at it through the lens of a man who literally lost his parents, lived in cramped rented rooms, took the crazy risks that no one else would touch, fell from the absolute peak and still managed to climb back up to the top, it actually becomes a profound truth. Maintaining that self-belief through your darkest failures is literally the only way you get to create your own history. I want to leave you with this iconic quote from one of his films. Picture Abhi Baaki hai mere dost. The movie isn't over yet, my friend. No matter what massive failures or heavy setbacks you are staring down today, you got to remember that your story is still being written. The real question is, what are you going to do in your next scene? Keep believing, keep pushing forward, and I'll see you in the next explainer.